Hi everyone. In the last video, we have discussed about the DevOps and DevSecOps principles and why do we really need a DevSecOps principle in infrastructure. And we had seen the necessity and we had discussed about list of vulnerabilities are currently available in the market and all. And in the last video, we had discussed about infrastructure and architectural diagram wise. If you haven't watched the video about it, so I do post the video link in the description and just go and watch the video first and come back to this video. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the list of DevSecOps tools are available in the market. And I'm going to just recalling the architectural diagram of DevSecOps for just in a couple of seconds. So as we know, in a DevSecOps, we do have a pre-commit hooks. It do install on the developer local machine, and later we have a SAST, which is a static application security testing and dynamic application security testing, and later we have a image scanner. If you are using container based deployment, so usually you do create a Docker image or any kind of container runtime image. So in general case, I mentioned the Docker because most of the companies do use Docker as a container runtime. And later we have discussed about the Kubernetes security scanners. So here, if you're directly deploying your manifest file with any GitOps tools for automation, so you can use the Kubernetes security scanners. Or if you're using a Helm package-based deployment into the Kubernetes cluster, so we can you can implement the Helm package scanners into your infrastructure too. So let's not waste the time and let's discuss about what all tools are available in a DevSecOps principles in the current market. So quick heads up, the list of tools that I'm going to specify in this video, few are open source with few are enterprise. So while you are installing or while you are referring the tool, so please make sure look into the availability of the tools before getting installing into your environment. So I'm going to present this. So first, as we know, in this infrastructure diagram, so first we are going to discuss about pre-commit hook scanners. So as already know that pre-commit hook scanners do install on the developer local machine. So whenever he wants to push the source code from his local laptop to a remote repository, so these scanners do activate it, and it will scan all the source code until find any vulnerabilities or any sensitive data is going to be exposed. So on top, I've just mentioned a few of the tools which are mostly widely used in the market, and you can go and do your own research, and you can find which are better for your infrastructure. So the main is Talisman and Pre-Commit Hook and Husky, GitHooks, Overcommit, lint-staged, and CommitLint and Git-Secrets. So these all, majorly and widely used tools are available in the market, and few tools are, totally open source, Talisman, and few tools are available. So I'll drop all the links in the description, and you can just click on it, and you'll go into the tool. You can find which one is open source and all. So these all mainly use tools in a pre-commit hook scanners. So these are tools to install in the developer's local machine to find the vulnerabilities before getting pushing into the source code management tool. And the next one is SAST, which is a static application security testing. So these tools let's go to the architecture diagram. So we have discussed about free commit hook scanner, which is installed on local machine of developer. And the next one, while applying the DevSecOps principles on the DevOps architectural diagram. So, and when the source code came into the source code management, so we have integrated the connection between the SCM, which is source code management, with a CI/CD tool. So we have a bunch of CI/CD tools available in the market. So few things are listed out like Jenkins, and we have DevOps, we have a GitLab, and we have a GitHub Actions, and we have a Circle CI. So we have a lot of tools available to get the code and get built and get scanned. But yeah, well, we are discussing about the DevSecOps principle. So once your code get built, so this CI/CD tool go and call the SAST scanners to scan your source code and find the vulnerabilities inside of it. So we have a list of SAST scanners do available, which is widely used. Which one is a Checkmarx and Fortify scanners, static code analysis, and Veracode and SonarQube, which is widely used, and Code Scanner, Clockwork, and IBM Security, and White Hat, Cast, and Coverty, Apps, Spider, NetSprayer, Parasoft, Clang Static, and LGTM, which is used by GitHub. And I think it, as per my understanding, LGTM is open source. You can go and use it. And Rapes and PumaScan, Security Assistant by Digital, and Jenkins Static Analysis Tool plugin. So this is the open source plugin. So if you are using Jenkins as a CI/CD tool, so you can use this plugin and you can scan your source code. And the last but not the least, Sneak. So Sneak also in kind of static code, static application security testing tool. You can integrate with your GitLab. You can integrate with your CI/CD tool, and you can make a handshake between your CI/CD and the SAST scanner tool, and you can send your source code to get scanned and get the vulnerability report, and accordingly you can take the action. So if your CI/CD tool found any vulnerability, so usually what usually how we implement the pipeline Dutch, like if it is found any critical or higher vulnerability, so usually the pipeline get failed, and whoever have run the pipeline, they get notified saying this code has such a type of vulnerability and this is the priority and you need to go and fix it. So that's the list of the SAST tools are available in the market. And again, I'm just quick heads up, like few tools are open source, few tools are enterprise. So while you are referring to the tools, please go and do your own research. So as I mentioned, like SAST scanning do happens on code level. Like if you're after a build, you just scan your source code to find the vulnerabilities, and list of the tools to call up, and list of any one of the tool do call up and give its own scanning report, and accordingly can take the actions. But if you want to find the vulnerabilities while your code is running, which means your application or its application is up and running, and you want to find the vulnerabilities on runtime, so that's where we use the dynamic application security testing. So dynamic application security testing do happen on a runtime, which means like let's example, you have developed XYZ application and you have deployed into the targeted environment, and you would like to see how many possibilities are there, and this website can be hacked, and you want to scan your entire website, how many possibilities are there, or how many vulnerabilities are there to get hacked by someone. So for that reason, you need to integrate one tool into your infrastructure, which is dynamic application security testing. So what usually this tool will do, it will go and hit your web application URL, and it will scan your entire website, and it will give a report how many chances are there to get hacked by your application, which means it is going to give a report of vulnerabilities. And the vulnerabilities report would be as a critical, high, and medium, and low. So this is the priority. Usually the vulnerabilities do come on standards. So if it is finding any critical vulnerability, so you should have to go and pick it up, and you should have to fix it, because that's a very critical one, and it's a very prioritized. And as I listing the data scanners, like we have a OW ASAP job, which is open source, and Bobsuit is open source, and Architects and NetSpeaker and App Spider and Qualysys web application, IBM Security App Scanner, Rapid7, Trust Wave, and Tenable and Postfigure Web Inspect and Nexopose and Qualysys and Detectify, Vega, Archine, Skifish and Wapti and OpenVAS and HC Lab scans. So these all list of app scans do comes under the DAST, which is Dynamic Application Security Testing. And you can utilize any one of these scanners and you can integrate these scanners into your infrastructure, and you can scan your application on live, and you can find the vulnerabilities on your application. So this is the also do integrated to your pipeline, and as I shown in the architectural diagram, so you can integrate this dash scan into your pipeline, and you can scan your application with the dash scan, and you can find the vulnerabilities. And the next one, like if you are using any package based package based deployment, and if you are using content based deployment, so that case you can use image scanner tools, which means like you are creating your entire source code as image. So that time you need to scan your image too, because even image has some kind of data explorer, and it may have some vulnerabilities to be hacked by the attacker. So that's why we need to scan, or it's a mandatory to scan your image. So the list of the tools are available in the market, which is Clyde and Trivy and Anchor Engine and Dagda, Microscanner and Sysdake, Sneak and Qualys, and Layered, and New Vector. So these are list of tools are available. So you can integrate any one of these tools to your CI/CD pipeline. Once your image, let's example, take of Docker. So once you have created your Docker image from the Docker file, so that image have your source code along with the one base operating system, and and you want to scan those tools, so you have to call it from your CI/CD tool, any one of this image scanner tool. So once you call it up, you can scan your Docker image with this any one of these scanner tools, and you can find how many vulnerabilities are available in the your application your image. So accordingly you can take the action whether you want to go and deploy it or not. And so usually this action happen like if it is found any um, you know uh, any critical vulnerabilities or high vulnerability, so that case you have to fix it from your side, whether it is a developer or DevOps engineer or DevSecOps engineer. So that's the image scanning tool list out. And again, few image scanner tools are open source and few are not. So you can look into that and you can do your own research. So once you've created your Docker image, so you want to deploy into in the target environment. So as already know, as or all know that if you are using multiple microservices, which if you are using hundreds of containers, so you need to have an orchestrator for your running the containers. So most famous orchestrator tools are Kubernetes. So once you want to run your container instead of Kubernetes, so you should have to declare your manifest file, which we call as a Kubernetes definition files. Even Kubernetes definition file do writes in YAML and JSON. So even we need to scan the YAML manifest file, because we do have a bunch of configurations. We do write the deployments, and we do write the pod information and pod connectivity between the database, and if you are using any external sensitive information like config maps and secrets, so you need to specify everything into your Kubernetes manifest. So that's the reason that's the reason we it's a good practice that you have to scan your Kubernetes manifest file too. So for that reason, we have a list of Kubernetes manifest file scanners. Which one is a KubeSpoke, Score, and KubeLinter, and KubeAudit, or KRile, Polaris, KubeHunter, and KubeSec scanners, and KubeWall, KubeScan, KubeGuard. So these are list of tools you can integrate your you can install into your Kubernetes cluster. So you can call it particular scanners while you are deploying your application through any one of the GitOps tools, or you can use Ansible to get deploy your manifest file, get deploy your image from your local to the target environment, even if it is a pipeline level. So yeah, that's all about the Kubernetes manifest file scanner tools. And let's get here about the Helm packaging scanners, because it's up to the infrastructure or infrastructure design whether you want to directly apply the Kubernetes manifest file into your target or Kubernetes cluster, or if you have a number of manifest files are present in your infrastructure, and you can use Helm packaging, and with the packaging you can package all the manifest file and you can deploy into the single go. So that's the reason, if you are using Helm packaging deployment into the Kubernetes cluster, so it's a better practice to scan your package, which is a Helm package. So for that reason, you can integrate this scanner with your CI/CD pipeline, and you can scan this tool with your package. So the list of tools are available for Helm scanner, Helm packaging scanner, which is a Tri-V, and you can use this for both Kubernetes manifest or Kubernetes definition files and Helm packaging, and Claire, Anchor Engine, Kube Hunter, and Snyk container. So as we already discussed, few tools have been the same, which is used for Kubernetes manifest file scanner tools. But yeah, if you are using a Helm packaging deployment into your Kubernetes cluster, you can use this list of the tools are available. So this is all about the tools that mostly used for DevSecOps principles and methodologies. And I have mentioned all the URLs of each tools, and I'll drop this entire information into description, and you can go and refer which one you want to integrate with your DevSecOps pipelines in your infrastructure. So that's all for now, and I'll come up with your new topics on DevSecOps. Feel free to drop your comments on comment section, and thank you for watching. Stay safe. Have a great day and good night. Bye.